My check. Ooh. Mike, Mike, check. Is this thing on? All right, it is me, unapologetically QI, unapologetically entering the building to give you my observations and my opinion of what I have been observing based on a long time. All right, so you read the title. It's the rise and the fall of the B sector. As I observe many things today, I see that basically what we have is a bunch of like the subscribers from the time of the glory of the B sector. You know, when the B sector was flourishing, when it was good, when it was full of money, when it was full of support, when, you know, the B sector was getting the attention of, bigger content creators. And a lot of the bigger content creators that the B sector gained attention from went on to mainstream media. So that should give you an idea of the the potential that the B sector had, back in the day. It had potential. It had a lot of potential. Uh, the thing is, it ended up going in the wrong direction instead of the right direction. I keep hearing people say that this the hood. The B sector has never been the hood. The B sector has always been like the suburbs, if you want to say that, or the the place where the grass was groomed, the place where there was accountability. It was never the hood. Now, the people that you're listening to that says, when you hear people say it's the hood, either they're not from our sector, they're not from the B sector, or they're part of the B sector 2.0 or B sector 3.0 that are busy trying to change the culture because of the simple fact that they are not content creators and they could not do what the original B sector content creators did. So let me repeat that. The people that you see now, they changed the culture, are changing the culture because they could not do what the original B sector content creators did. They didn't really have that talent. They always talk about the it factor and who's boring. Well, their channels are boring because it's like a lot of panels and they have to rely on a whole lot of other people, not for a collab. Nah, when you're collabing every day, when you can barely get through commentary, when like you have to rely on other people pushing forth different things, your panel pushing forth things, and even the subscribers know that That's why the drop game, which came from another sector, which was a culture that the B sector should have never picked up. Because, I look back at the B sector days and back in the older B sector days, it's like whenever something, a major event was happening, like if it was a major event, you had multiple camps, giving their opinions and opening the panels for their, supporters to express themselves. And it wasn't like supporters were jumping on panels and they didn't have no input. They didn't have no idea of like what was going on. It was basically people jumping on the panels who, like were in the know and could add. Now, basically, a lot of the content gets deadened, um, because people who don't have a clue, people from other sectors, they're the first ones now to jump in and chime in, which is, messing up the B sector. It's messing up because there's so much stuff from back in the day. Yeah, I'm tired of the past. It ain't got to be old stuff. New stuff arrive from old stuff, which would keep it B sector. But then when you bring in all these new people, when you're changing the whole culture, because the B sector was a culture on its own. And when you say sector, that means culture. B sector culture, which is LGBTQIA and women, Black women driven. Point blank, simple, specific. So when Lemon wants to go over there, he wants to change it all up. And how dare y'all let somebody who stay at home with their mommy, somebody who's 38, close to I'm not 40. Rest round you off, Negro. You're 40. Round it off, you're 40. You're 30, 36, 37, 38, somewhere in that number. You're 40 and you're too old to be staying at home with your mama. You're too old to not be working. You're too old to be doing a lot of the things that you have done, and you don't appear to have any real accomplishments. Because whenever you speak about accomplishments, you're speaking about high school, middle school. We're talking about somebody who hasn't done anything with his life, and he came on here and accidentally ended up being a larger content creator, primarily because the B sector supported him. And then when the B sector gave him all this support, then he starts like the typical self-admitted, I say self-admitted narcissist that he is. He started to degrade and stomp on the B sector. He does not like the B sector. He wants to run something. It's like he's a thief in the night. He basically is snatching it and trying to give it to the people that he wants to give it to. And the reason he's doing that, it's like he's creating his own cult. Because I remember something he told me one time, back in Discord, because y'all remember I was the first head Lemonette, and I think that people were asking who coined that term. It was Sassy and YTC, because they called me that, and I was offended. I was offended. Now let me just tell you why I supported Lemon. Okay, because we had a lot of lesbians over there. So I'm like, okay, he doesn't have a problem with lesbians, because even some of the gay guys have a problem with lesbians. Some of the gay content creators, because of the misogyny and things like that, they have a problem. Oh, y'all don't do the lesbians like that, or the lesbians this, or every time they encounter an issue, they always got to throw us in there some type of way. But lesbians and gay men have totally different cultures. We're totally different. That's why they can't be our spokesperson and we can't be theirs, because we have different cultures. But they're always trying to misrepresent us and always represent us in a negative way, paint a bad picture because they're intimidated by lesbians. You know why? Because lesbians have always been the forefront of leadership. When you go to a lot of these, ACLU, a lot of the pride committees, a lot of the, it's the, especially when when it's, multiracial. When it's multiracial, like the demographic, you're gonna always see more women. You're always gonna see more women because women are nurturers. Women are more balanced because women like like women are not egotistical and we're only gonna be concerned with women's needs. A lot of times, women are gonna look at the overall benefit of everything for everybody. Because just like with the whole LGBTQIA community, like especially in the beef sector, the gay men have did a disservice to the entire community by their insecurities towards lesbians, by their egotism to lesbians. But they're not the only ones. A lot of lesbians, it's called interdiscrimination or whatever. It's called something like that. But that's where you got a lot of, lesbians, a lot of people within the community who are homophobic. They really don't believe in their own lifestyle. So, it's been a lot of that. And so basically, the content was coming from things like that. The content was coming from us being able to talk about our issues, us being able to work out our own issues. That's why I said it's a whole lot of content. A whole lot of content within, the old beef sector, because it wasn't based on, just who and what happened. It was based on real life stuff. So we had a lot of real life conversations. We had everybody didn't do drama. It wasn't drama. We didn't have no panels really like talking about. So it wasn't about panels. It was about education as well. It was about presenting information as well. But like I said, a lot of these new players, they can't do that, right? So that's why they're so busy. Oh, they're boring. Oh, we don't want to hear that old stuff. Oh, we don't want it because they don't fit in. The only way they're fitting in right now is because basically the way that what they created, anybody can fit in. Anybody. That's why you got all of these. They open the doors, these 2.0s, 3.0s, open the door up for anybody to get in. When the system that we had at first, well, you had to have some knowledge. You had to be a part of the know. You weren't just gonna jump on no panel. You wasn't just gonna. We weren't just like people weren't just promoting and supporting people who were clout chasing. And one way or the other, you had to fit some type of criteria to be considered in the B sector. Some type of criteria. Well, these days, it's not no criteria. You don't even have to be beef sector. You can be sitting there saying black sector all day, big black sector all day, and they gonna promote you. Big troll beef, they gonna promote you, which means no pride. But like it said, you go to these other sectors, you do not see that. You don't see beef sectors. Go to Mo3 sector. How many Mo3 people? Because first of all, Mo3 is it's hard for anybody. I'm from the dirty South. So Mo3 basically is a dirty South community. But at the forefront of it all, it's the Dallas, Texas crew. They're gonna tell you quickly, this Dallas business. Shout out to Trigger Man. This Dallas business. So you're not just about to walk over there. Now you could be, you could be a strong content creator within that area and all of that kind of stuff. But you gotta be from dirty South first. Dirty South first. And those from the dirty, they already know what we talking about. But at any rate, like So that's what we have. So like I'm just gonna go back just a little bit, right? The rise and fall. Okay, so basically we had Phi Babe, we had VS. Phi Babe, let's just say she was a representative of the straight people, straight women, church women. Because she came on like Jay Wilson and she was an evangelist, right? And you had VS. Those were like the two queens of the sector, right? And VS basically Camp TSCC was everybody. It was straight, it was Christian, it was gay, gay men, it was everybody, a mixture of everybody. Okay, so let's say on the male gay side, right? You had Jay Wilson. He was like the church. You had Sean Bradley. Now Sean Bradley was the biggest for a minute. He was the biggest. I don't know. I guess I want to say he might have a mixture. I don't know. I don't know. But Jay Wilson was like a lemon. It's predominantly women and with the sprinkle of men, a sprinkle of deacons. All right, then Wiley. Now I'm gonna say Wiley was pretty much built by TSCC, built by VS, because I was a moderator. That's like the first. I was a moderator over there. Between him, I think I did both Wiley and Miss Gina Queen of Talk at the same time, but I was moderators for both of their channels, right? Active supporter. And, basically I ran across TSCC through Wiley. And this was during that spaghetti and hot dog time because, I love that song. I was like, that's so creative. That was so funny. Spaghetti and hot dogs or whatever, right? And this was during the Tanaya, the Larry Nelson. So basically, I'm still an advocate for the same thing. So basically, because of that movement, I heavily started supporting VS and TSCC. But so Wiley, like he at that time he only had like 30 people. And then there was like certain people, he had good content because, like I was one of the people who helped with this content, TC, HBCU, and even Jason, white guy Jason. That's when Jason was trying to buy Wiley a computer, and he was basically saying that Jason basically said he came from Tasha K. So there you go. All right. So after the IHOP situation where VS was no longer allowed to be on here, it's just like a lot of the subscribers and women and stuff like that, the subscribers or the panelists, people who they decided that I guess they wanted, it's like people wanted a lot of these women, a lot of the women, they want to be powerful. They want to step up in power, right? Because all of TSCC at that time, Lady Nika, at that time, she was supporting TSCC. They went to Brianna. Because I even remember ZT, Zero Tolerance, saying, TSCC, one of y'all, because I guess he was against Brianna. He was like, one of y'all, he's called lesbians, derogatory term, but like Zero Tolerance, he was all right, like that's just him, but I can't say that he just was anti-lesbian or whatever, but he was just like, one of y'all need to step up. One of y'all need to step up. And the mere fact that he was saying that, like, one of the lesbians from TSCC needed to step up, that showed that, like he believed in the capability, he believed in the vision, right? All right, so then I wasn't a part of it. I had been out for a minute. I was doing my own thing. And I had personal family issues where, like not only could I not, I had to take a step back from my own content, my own channel. But like I had to take a step back from even supporting, so that it wasn't right for me, and I wasn't a part of TSCC at that time. So I guess it was up to them. I don't know who he had in mind specifically when he said that. I would love to know that to this day who he had in mind. But it's just like basically that's what happened. It's like too much power went into the wrong hands. Because you have leaders and you have followers. So basically, a lot of the power went into the hands of followers. And I'm talking about people who, didn't have a vision in terms of what they were trying to do. That's when it became about the money. That's when it became about the numbers, instead of like, I came on here because of the mission, for the purpose, for a purpose. I'm on here for a purpose. They had no purpose other than money, greed, and numbers, power, and control. Because at this time, Fi Babe, she was lighting up over there. Because, like I said, the two queens was Fi Babe and VS. VS left, Fi Babe was, and there was a whole hate train going on with Fi Babe, and I'm just sitting there like, what in the heck is this? Because I mean, I appreciate Fi Babe, because Fi Babe helped me out. She helped me to to get my channel, and even though I didn't monetize at the time because I didn't have time to do that at the time. Like I said, my personal stuff, I wish I had. That was like one mistake that I wish I had went on and done that. But Fi Babe did, she helped me out, right? And I had never like really, really, really been a part of her camp to know her, from other than what we could see. Because it's different when you're a part of the camp and when you're not. When you're a part of the camp, I was gonna say your leader, but the person that you're, basically following. You've been able to observe, not know them, but you've had a lot of time to observe a lot about them. So I hadn't, just, like observe. So like when people were coming out here and they were saying like all of these negative things about Fi Babe, and then when people were falling out of Fi Babe's camp, I didn't, I'm just like, okay, like who am I to say that, they're not telling the truth? Who am I? You know what I'm saying? So, basically I was just sitting back and watching, sitting back and looking. But, I did see some things that was skeptical, like the whole ZX thing and the fact that ZX came in, he wasn't expressing his homophobia when he first came into, back when he first went over there to what's her name? Uh Ciroc. What is it? Bama Girl. When he first went over there to Bama Girls, he didn't like he didn't act homophobic. When he was over there at Fi, he didn't act homophobic. It wasn't until during the time, because it started with QB. It started with him expressing things to Fi Babe about QB. And Fi Babe and QB wasn't going. All right. So, he got kicked off of that island, right? Okay. And then he started with Jay Wilson, and started just utterly, to all of us, basically, utterly over there doing videos and stuff, expressing how our lifestyles was wrong and homophobia and all of that. And, everybody was like, you're not addressing him. Why address him? Like, I was mad when Jay Wilson addressed him. Because the whole thing of the matter, if you don't like us, leave us alone. Stay over there where you're at. Because like the B sector, And I mean what I'm saying. And I still mean what I'm saying. The B sector was created not just by the community, but like a predominantly or a big part by the community. So we created this space. You're not going to come in here and try to change. You're not going to come in here and try to disrespect. You're not going to come in here and try to degrade. So when I see these 2.0s and these 3.0s still allowing this man that has no business over here, no business around us, because not only is it against YouTube, legally in real life, he's a danger to our community. ZX is a danger to our community. And it's not like we're going over there and we're holding up picket signs at his door. He's coming over here where we are. And it just did everybody who has allowed him on a panel, everybody who has allowed him after knowing who he was, cannot care about the B sector. You're selfish and you're greedy. And he's been 90 going 100 ever since, to the point that he's a stalker to all of us, to the point where we should, because I heard somebody the other day on a panel, they want to blackball VS, one of the creators or the founders of the sector, but they trying to give excuses to ZX. Where in life does that ever make sense? Oh, he different. Oh, how the heck is he different? Yeah, he's different, all right. He's a danger. So you're not respecting your supporters. You're not respecting other content creators in the B sector to say he different. Just like the other day, Jay Wilson had to go on Pizza's channel to address envy. My bad, I got a phone call. But had to address envy. Because envy tells you he manosphere. Like a lot of the people who are manosphere, they don't, hold up a sign. They ain't got it on their channel. But they, and y'all don't know, but the manosphere is anti-Black woman. They believe in degrading Black women. The manosphere, they it wasn't until the Kevin Samuels thing that they even decided that they might need to embrace the LGBTQIA, gay men. Let me take that back, gay men. And I guess studs. Because they approached me one day and I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, nah, I'm a woman. I'm a woman. They were trying to tell me I should be more since I'm a stud, I should be, on the man's side. No, because biologically, I'm a woman. When it comes down to healthcare, when it comes down to politics, politically, which means my rights, my political rights, my civil rights, they're not going to look at me like a man. They're going to look at me like a woman. I'm just a woman with a different lifestyle. I'm just a woman who expresses myself in a different way. I'm just a woman who loves, like other women. That's all. So, the mere fact that we're allowing all of these people into the B sector, which is totally opposite from the founders, the foundation, the subscribers, everything of the B sector, means that these people that you actively see and the people that you see over there getting help, like a lot of these people are cowards. If you reached outside of the B sector for some help, and you're going against the B sector, now I can see if you reached outside of the B sector for some help with somebody in another sector or somebody in, that's different. But reaching outside the B sector For B sector, you're a coward. You're not beefing. You're not equipped because the B sector was about addressing its own problem. If somebody said something that you didn't like, you addressed it. You dealt with it. So why, oh, y'all are not fighting, y'all are not beefing, because y'all don't fight, y'all don't beef. Y'all want to basically sit there and cover and do commentary on other people fighting. Then y'all want to pit women up against each other to fight so you'll have something to cover. That is greedy, evil, selfish. Lemon, you do it. Pizza, you do it. Shame. When the old B sector, the original B sector, women empowerment. That's how Lady Nika arise from the phoenix. What was it? I rise like, arose from like a phoenix. Women empowerment. Shelley was involved. You remember Properly Bonafide came back out. Chelsea. It was so many women, and some that I didn't even know about. I learned about people who came before me and before VS during the women who came about before they had been done sort of bad by what they call the gay men. So at that time we were like, people were complaining about the disrespect coming from the gay men. But then y'all want to let a bunch of straight open, you can't care about the B sector. You can't be B sector if you letting all of these homophobic, all of these men who degrade and come straight in here trying to degrade Resto, coming straight in here trying to degrade Black women. This heat came straight in here trying to, go at, like for clout. Cause I'm like, who is this and where did she come from? It's the weirdest thing, sitting there and trying to defend yourself against somebody you don't know. They sitting there and they think they know everything about you. They repeating all the lies, all of the fake narratives. It's weird as heck trying to defend yourself against somebody like that you have no clue about. But that's what people who want to say that they're B sector, big B sector, did. That's what they're still doing. Bringing in these other people who want clout. You want some clout? Okay, go sick them. Go get them. And you're putting these people on your own sector instead of putting on your big draws, and standing up like a real man or woman and dealing with it on your own like you're supposed to. That's weak, that's coward, that's evil, that's selfish. And a lot of y'all are so busy. And then it just, I'm a girl's girl. You're a girl's girl. Then it's like when I was over there with Lemon, you were a girl's girl and you didn't like Lemon. And you had all your country was complaining against Lemon, right? Because that's when Lemon wasn't so bad. That's why they wanted a lot of us from over there because they caused issues to get because like we would tell Lemon, that's not right. Stop, it ain't right for you to treat women like that. Stop doing, like we would tell him and not just tell him, but tell people who came on his panel. We was like the bodyguards. Me and Les B. And there was some others, especially behind the scenes. But now they over there just excusing everything that this self-admitted narcissist, this person who this crybaby, this insecure, it's so many adjectives, and then he loves to, like the typical narcissist, humiliate others, but he's really the one that has the insecurity issues. He's sitting up there with that mask on. He's sitting up there with that mask on, and he's self-admitted narcissist. I don't know if he representing his narcissism with that mask on or not, or the mask on every picture or not. But that's a psychologically disturbed psychopath or sociopath. I gotta, I don't, I'll get the definition correct. But at any rate, and the fact that so many people are following him shows you that so many people have issues, a variety of different issues. Now, ain't none of us perfect. So I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfect, but I'm just saying that women in their 40s and 50s that don't look right, that don't look right, that don't look right, that don't look right. And he don't need another mama. He got one. He don't need another mama. And then it's, woo, that's deep. But anyway, so after, like they did the hate train on Phi Babe. And then, so during that time, DKL crowned, okay, first it was the trifecta. The trifecta began pretty much after, after IHOP. All right. Then you had Tracy, because, she was beefing with Phi Babe, and she was also beefing with Sean Bradley and all of them. So basically, she clicked up with the trifecta. And basically, they crowned DKL, Duchess Kelly Love. It's your fault, Duchess. Because you were the one, because you were beefing with Phi Babe at the time. And a part of that hate train, what you call a Miss, I forgot that place in Chicago. Whatever. But you coined Pizza the queen of the beef sector. Because she had got that 1K or whatever. And so then shortly after that, DKL, they came after you. Because they were supporting you at first, right? Then shortly after that, they came after you. They blackballed you too. But so from Tracy arose Sir King and the Avatar Nation. Tracy avatars in terms of Pizza and Sir King. Okay, so shortly thereafter, the trifecta, which included Pizza, because Pizza ended up going over to the trifecta and becoming besties with Brianna. They blackballed Sir King, which Lemon came out of Sir King. So Sir King, you want to, three, Pizza, Tracy, Sir King, Lemon, 3.0. All right, so like I said, I was away at the time, so I come back and everything done switched up, everything done changed. They got like anybody, it's like everybody, if you're not kissing the trifecta's butt, and then also the trifecta also had where they were drowning people out. Like if you go live, somebody would go live. This was during when we were shut in, right? If you go live, they gonna go live on top of you. They go live to keep people from getting numbers. They were drowning people out. Because they created the redirect. Before we knew what a redirect was, they were redirecting manually. We're going over here. They dropped the link in the chat. And so everybody go over there. So you don't like people. Okay, so let's look at it this way. The people who were in the chat, they had no idea who else was live because, okay, I'm a Pettyville. I'm part of Pettyville. Okay, the Intels are going live. We all going over to the Intel. So everybody go over to Intel. So before people could even just bounce off and go see if Phi Babe or somebody else is live, they was boom, 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 boom. But the difference is Phi Babe had enough core supporters. She had enough strong core. Her core was strong to the fact that it didn't affect her. It even affected Jay Wilson. It even affected Jay Wilson. So right now, basically, the only content creators that we have out, I mean, we only have one side left. We only have the trifecta. Because Pizza's trifecta, Lady Nika trifecta, most of the people. Then you got Jay Wilson. And Jay Wilson from Florida. I used to call him Florida, the Florida crew. Jay Wilson from Florida. So, basically, hey, them Florida people, I guess they looking out for them other Florida people. Kimmy was Florida. That's why she was over there with Brianna, the Florida crew. So basically, the B sector went from, where we should have went more into doing real business. Because we started launching t-shirt lines. We started like going into a better direction. We did have kinks to work out, but basically, people could have, people could have really like blew up by getting away, but they ruined that. The trifecta ruined that. Because a lot of people should be bigger than what they are in the B sector. There are a lot of great content creators, a lot of content creators with skills, abilities, and talents. Because the it factor is skills, abilities, and talent. Ain't nobody just popping in. Ain't nobody just going to pop in and look at you. Like ain't nobody, like all of that clownery stuff after a while it goes out the window. People get tired of it. And then you're gonna end up getting in trouble. It leads to trouble. Just look at Ice Poor Done and a lot of them other, they kicked clean up off of here. Kicked clean banned. Tommy kicked clean up off of here. And then, like Tasha, well, I don't think Tasha Kays is dealing with YouTube, but I mean, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But, as above, so below. Instead of like a lot of these content creators looking and learning and trying to follow guidelines and rules, they sitting there complaining and making excuses up and wanting to continue the same stuff because it's easy to them. And it's not working. It's not working for them. It's not working for the sector. And the mere fact that they're letting other sectors in that basically hurt, harmed, or, dead in their own sectors is bad. And then it's like their other sectors, like the men of these other sectors are receiving more benefits than even Lemon is not monetized. Pizza's not monetized. So they have to rely on cash apps and stuff, donations. But then they're even messing themselves up because they're feeding all the money, Lemon. Well, both of them. They're feeding all the money to outsiders. And I don't know if it's sold to the highest bidder, because that's what it seems like. Sold to the highest bidder. Sold to the highest bidder. The subscribers. Sold to the highest bidder. Because I don't know if they're getting money from the content creators that they're promoting, a donation from them. I ain't gonna say if not they should. I'm just gonna say if not, that's crazy. Because that's short-term money. Getting monetized and different things and creating like a support system. A support system is other content creators as well. Like the B sector was a support system for content creators within the B sector. That was a support system. So they have divided and conquered the support system. They're consistently trying to divide and conquer their own with the help of outsiders, listening to outsiders who are sitting there drooling at the mouth because they want their hands on the money that you're getting. And you think that you're about to ride off in the sunset with them, but they trying to get what they got to get, and then they're going to get rid of you too. So basically, that's what we have. We got traders, we got followers who stepped up and they're acting or pretending to be leaders and they're not. And basically, they have auctioned off, they're selling off the B sector. Because when you're accepting money for subscribers, accepting money for support, that's like auctioning off. You're auctioning off people. And instead of the subscribers sitting and realize that you're in control of your money, you're in control of your soul, you're in control of yourself by not supporting negativity. And then let me just say this too. They're always trying to, you can't paint one person as a villain when they're all villains. Lemon is a villain. He does things, he just throws rocks and hides his hand. Or he'll manipulate weak-minded women into doing what he needs to do. He's manipulative. Then I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Yeah, you had something. You manipulate. Just like right now, he's trying to build a VSA train. Him and Ken are trying to get women to go up and fight VS because they're misogynistic and because their deeds are short and they know that, like they lack manhood. And instead of coming at other men as they should, that would make them look more manly, they want to come at a woman because they feel like a woman is an easy target because they're cowards, they're insecure. And it's like, oh, you got beat up by a girl. Like people like Ghetto running around. Oh, you got beat up by a girl. You got beat up like little kids on a high school playground. When real people already know that you ain't black men, you ain't nothing without a woman. You ain't nothing without a strong woman. You ain't nothing without a woman. Okay? You wouldn't even be here. So basically, y'all, that's the gist of this is, I guess I'll say part one, but that's just the gist of the introduction of what I see going on. I just got to speak about it because it's sad, because it's layers. It's layers to this thing. And it's so sad. It's like we're going back to Jim Crow and eventually going back to slavery. You know what I'm saying? It's bad. So, I appreciate everybody who have supported and who have listened. Y'all make sure y'all smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new here and you haven't. I am going to bring about some better content, but one of the reasons I'm not is because of the environment. It's like I'm not casting my jewels into, like casting my jewels amongst the swine. Because I've experienced what they do. You come forth with something, and before you can really get it moving, before you can get your train moving, they snatched it and used it, and they done corrupted it. So instead of you being able to build off of your own baby, your own project, your own creativity, because they lack creativity, they steal. Over and over again, just like they're trying to steal the beef sector, just like they're trying to steal subscribers, just like they're trying to steal cash apps, that steal what is that, super chats. They're thieves. But anyways, I'm gonna get off of here until I have some other things to say. But I'm just saying, and a lot of these women are so insecure. I forgot to put this, Mammy Mountain. A lot of these women, some of them come from religions, like I've already said that, where they're taught, and that's like how they grew up in that chaos, in that, not getting attention, a lot of things, right? So some of these women got some severe psychological issues, some severe psychological trauma, and they like to project it. That's what you call projecting it on to other people, which makes the toxic masculine, misogynistic, hyper misogynistic woman. Because both male and female can be hyper toxic misogynists. And the women are the worst. Because the men already know that that's their army, right? Like Lemon already know that his toxic misogynist, hyper misogynist, sick 'em, and like little dogs, they run up there looking stupid and doing it. Sicking another woman. There. But like I said, there's layers to this thing. Layers. And it's sad. And that's why I'm like speaking out. Because, they'd rather you get on a panel and call and degrade each other instead of trying to psychologically or like break down what's going on in a way where people can learn, where people can get healing, where people know that something's going on. Because I'm not saying this for people to like the Mammy Mountain or Super Mammies and stuff. I'm not saying this to them for them to degrade them. I am saying this to them because I want them to look at things. Look at how you're running out there and you're beating up on other women, and women are losing. You're helping other women to lose because you feel like you're gonna lose, so you don't want to see another woman make it. Because you're not realizing that the person that you're running to defend is not helping you. Like, you don't have big numbers. Like it's in the you're a follower. You don't have none of these women like Pizza. You too strong for that. Like when I'm talking to Pizza, I'm not saying this to Pizza. Like Pizza, you want to be a follower. So Pizza wants to be a follower now, right? Pizza's ready to give up her cash apps to be a follower. Because that's basically what she's doing. She's giving up her cash apps to be a follower up under some men who are not going to respect her. Because her day too is going to come where she's going to get up. Right now, they're just using her for what she has, which is the influence. But at any rate, I'm about to get out of here. Like I said, it's not to degrade anybody. This is to help people look deeply within themselves, to help people to realize that maybe they need to go to therapy behind their childhood traumas, or to help people to look on the inside, look from within instead of looking from external forces. Like I've been taught means external. Like I feel or I see things or my perspective is internal. There's a difference. But to help people to see that, like, you can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. And like Obama said, the change that we want to see is within us. So like y'all, until next time, peace and hair grease and all that good stuff. And I'm now going to exit the building unapologetically. Peace. I'm out.